Hey everybody, Mntdewmania here, and welcome to my Halloween special, I guess you could call it, just a vlog, I guess. You are seeing on the video, this is my first attempt with my phone, my smartphone, to make a video. I did realize, of course, that you need to go this way and not the other way. I was explaining that to my husband in the video. Not too steady. We are walking on some very slick leaves down and up and down some banks, so just kind of bear with me as we do this very first one together. But there is a special significance about where I am. This is Hanging Dog Campground in where I live, Murphy, North Carolina. It's about 6, 7, 8 10 miles out of town. I don't know. It's somewhere around there. And you need to look at a link I'm putting in the description for Hiawassee Dam. This lake didn't used to be here. It was put here by the TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority, whatever it's called. And with the result of putting this lake way back to the 30s, this graveyard you're getting ready to see, there used to be a church here. Well, a lot of families and churches and roads, you can see the dates are very, very old. Um, it's it's kind of creepy here. I'm not gonna lie to you. Some of these look newer because there have been different groups and things over the years that have tried to figure out who's buried where, looking through old county records and old church records, and they've been trying, when money is available, to change the headstones so this place can be remembered and not forgotten, because when the TVA bought all of this land, as you can read by the article that I linked to, there where they cleared out 261 families. 25 miles of road had to be rearranged, moved elsewhere, new roads cut and laid, and whatever. And 462 graves. Now, this right here, this Mark James, this is my great great uncle. Okay, yeah, that is my mother's uncle. I was adopted by my great aunt and uncle. So now you see this rock. Some spots are only marked by rocks. Some are just the head. Some have a small rock at each end. Some graves. Here's one right here. You can see, and then right up here, that rock is the headstone. You can see it right there. Yeah, and that's all that's left. There are some places that there are just empty spots. There is a path that goes down the middle. There are some places that we've had a couple of bad storms and tornadoes come through. That's my husband. He found a very, very old, one was a reverend, and then there was a wife. I mean, there are lots of family plots here. The dates are just incredible. But there are some newer ones. I mean, there's one that's even as early as 1973. It's a plaque. I don't know if they actually buried the person here, but their plaque is here. And it's a sad thing because I can remember stories of my mom telling me that there was, the TVA paid each family. If you had so many kids, you got so much money for moving, for the inconvenience of moving, or you might have got so much for each acre of land. But there was a lot of families and churches and graveyards that were just, this is the one I was talking about. I kind of cleaned it off so you could see it. But like I said, I don't know if they were actually. I don't know if you can get permission to be buried here anymore. That's the. I don't know if it's possible. People still come and put flowers. You will see random flowers about people. These families are still here. Generation after generation. But it's the stories that my dad told me that I want to kind of pass on to you on this Halloween day. My his sister married a gentleman named Monroe, and Monroe and quite a few other people were hired to move the graves. They were hired to move the bodies, and um, there were stories of I've heard of my whole life of digging up people and they'd be covered in moss and fingernails grown, hair grown, beards. I mean, it's creepy. And I mean, you just walking through here, you get a creepy feeling, and at the end of the video, you will see like there's some blown over trees and stuff. I'll get to that in a little while. But there were hollows where you could see where they moved the graves. And I mean, you can tell that I mean, people are just uh, jerks. They will come over, they will push down headstones, they will break them. I'm sure when they're, having a party and drunk, they think it's funny. But, I've always been taught you be respectful of the dead. You will notice that I tried not to step on any graves. When I do, I straddle one. I mean, there's a foot on either side where I'm doing that. I do not try to step on the graves. I try to be respectful, and that's just it. But some people don't do that. And my dad did tell stories of grave robbing. They would find rings and coins and gold on the eyes, and some of the people would steal them. And my uncle and him, my dad would tell stories about that. And they moved quite a few. There was other churchyards and churches and graveyards that were affected besides this one. And it's the it's the stories about just I always get this kind of not a bad feeling, just an uneasy one. It's like somebody's trying to, and I don't know. It's just you see these sad, just little spots of flowers, and it's just like I don't know. It's sad that Now I'm getting ready to walk down to the lake right here, so you can get a good look at the lake that you know. But this was, I mean, I'm sure creeks and streams, and there are stories of lakes around where I live that there are whole towns under the water because this lake is huge. I mean, it's not just one. It goes on for miles and miles and miles, as you can see in the article. And I mean, it goes through. There are more than just one dam on this river, so it's I don't know. I guess it reminds me that even though this was probably a beneficial thing, you know, there's still there always seems to be a dark side to every story. And I mean I've heard this story a million times. Big business comes in and they see opportunity to make power and control flooding, so they throw these dams up and whole towns disappear, whole communities disappear, whole graveyards disappear. There are stories about coffins washing up, and and it's wild. It really is. But my dad also told me stories that people told him about feelings of after they moved these graves. He always told me about a story about a gentleman. I mean, he was a churchgoer. He was just one of the most finest people. I mean, and he just turned into, about a month after this, he just started drinking. He started beating on his wives and kids. I mean, he just, and his wife told stories to her friends and family about, he would like wake up screaming, at night. And it just, I've heard dozens of these stories my whole life. And it's creepy, you know. Um, it's just, I mean, especially when you still see these these long forgotten graves. I mean, there used to be like all kind of community involvement and in this campground. And I mean, I don't think it's even open for the last 2 years because the government cuts money. We don't have rangers. We don't have personnel to keep it up. So it's just going back to wild, All the camp loops are, I don't even know if they even open them anymore. Um, because people don't camp anymore. People don't get out and enjoy nature anymore. We're too busy on the computer all the time. So, I mean, and you can see right over here, I'm getting ready to walk up. This is where all the trees have blown down, like from some of the latest um, storms. But it's it's scary. There's just this uneasy feeling here, even after all this time. As many times as I've been here, I always get. I mean, you can tell right here, just the big ball roots of the trees are just blown over. Um, we do get occasional tornadoes through here. I mean, it does happen. We get some nasty winds, but down in here, there used to be like the actual. You could see the actual hollows where they moved graves on up, to the ones that you just saw. They moved them up the bank. They were, on down through these woods. But of course, you can't get over there now. You can't see it now because of all this. But yeah, I thought I would share this with you. Kind of one of the creepy, scary places around my hometown that it's really real. It's really here, and there are lingering stories. I mean, after all these years, people just feeling uneasy over here. People feeling, I mean, they get the feeling they're being watched. People fish all over this lake, but a lot of people won't come over here and fish off that point I just showed you. It's uncomfortable. They always, I mean, you can see the woods are thick, undergrown. Um, it's very, very creepy. And it's sad that, something this historic is just going wild like this. I don't know if the group that was taking care of it or trying to restore it even are together anymore, because that was years ago. And people lose interest. Some people that are involved, move away, and things just get left. And it's sad. It really is. But I thought you would enjoy seeing a not a horror story, but just something that's relevant and real in my hometown that I have always heard stories about, that started out, a company wanting to do something great, and even after all of these years and years later, there are still ghost stories going around about uneasy feelings and people feeling like they're being watched. And yeah, so let me know in the comments, do you have somewhere in your neighborhood or your hometown that locals talk about that's haunted? And have you ever been there? Do you feel uneasy when you go there? Or have you ever had any kind of thing happen like that? So I hope you enjoyed my first kind of video with my phone. I was just, out. We were out walking around and trying to figure out how to do this. So it's not too shabby, I hope. But yeah, share. There's a good picture of Hiawassee Lake. And share some stories with me. I'd appreciate it. So please have a safe Halloween. If you are going trick-or-treating tonight, please be careful. And if you celebrate it in your country, take care, and everybody enjoy and keep it lighthearted and fun how it's supposed to be, okay? So happy Halloween to everybody. I'm going to get on up the stairs here and try not to fall on all these acorns on the ground. So hope you guys enjoy. And happy Halloween. See you next time. This is Mntdewmania. Later all.